Derrick Rose grew up on the tough streets of Chicago's Englewood neighborhood, a place where opportunities were rare and distractions were everywhere. From a very young age, basketball became more than just a game for him. It became a path, a purpose. A quiet promise to himself that life could be different. Rose was known as a shy and humble kid who rarely spoke much. But once he stepped onto a basketball court, everything about him changed. The court became the one place where he felt completely free. His three older brothers played a huge role in shaping his early career. They protected him from negative influences in the neighborhood and pushed him to focus on basketball. Instead of letting him wander the streets, they took him to local courts, trained with him, and made sure his talent was developing every single day. Even as a young teenager, people around Chicago started noticing something special about him. His speed was unbelievable, almost like he was gliding across the court, and his ability to change direction left defenders completely confused. Unlike many young players who relied only on flashy moves, Rose had natural court vision and an instinct for the game. That made him stand out. Coaches and local fans quickly realized that this quiet kid might become something extraordinary. When he entered Simeon Career Academy High School, the expectations were already building. Chicago is a city with a deep basketball culture, and young stars are constantly compared to legends, yet Rose did not seem intimidated by any of that pressure. Instead, he focused on improving every part of his game. With each season, his confidence grew, and his performances started attracting attention not only from local fans, but also from national scouts. At Simeon High School, Rose transformed from a promising young player into a dominant force on the court. His speed, explosive first step, and fearless drives to the basket made him nearly impossible to guard. Opponents often tried double teams, but Rose always seemed to find a way to break through defenses. More importantly, he played with a calm maturity that was rare for someone his age. He wasn't just scoring points, he was controlling the entire game. Under his leadership, Simeon became one of the strongest high school teams in the country. The team went on to win back-to-back Illinois state championships, and Rose quickly became the pride of Chicago basketball. As his reputation grew, college recruiters from across the nation began paying close attention. Major programs wanted him on their roster, and basketball analysts started calling him one of the best high school point guards in America. Yet despite all the growing fame, Rose remained the same quiet kid from Englewood who simply loved the game. His story was beginning to inspire people in his community because it showed that greatness could rise from even the toughest environments. By the time he graduated from Simeon, Derrick Rose was no longer just a local star. He had become one of the most exciting young talents in the entire country, and the next chapter of his journey toward basketball greatness was about to begin. After finishing high school as one of the most exciting young players in America, Derrick Rose took the next step in his journey by joining the University of Memphis. The expectations were already enormous. Basketball fans, scouts, and analysts were curious to see whether his explosive high school dominance could translate to the college level. Under the guidance of legendary coach John Calipari, Rose quickly proved that he belonged on the biggest stage. From the very beginning of the season, it was clear that he wasn't just another talented freshman. His speed with the ball was breathtaking, his ability to drive into the lane was nearly unstoppable, and his calm decision-making made him look far more experienced than his age. Memphis built its entire offense around Rose's ability to control the pace of the game. When he accelerated, the entire arena seemed to hold its breath. During that season, Memphis became one of the most dominant teams in college basketball. Rose was the engine behind their success. He consistently delivered strong performances, whether it was scoring in crucial moments or creating opportunities for his teammates. What impressed coaches and analysts the most was his composure under pressure. Even in the loudest arenas and the most intense moments, Rose played with a quiet confidence that made everything look effortless. His performances helped Memphis reach the NCAA championship game, placing him directly under the brightest spotlight in college basketball. Even though the championship game ended in heartbreak for Memphis after a dramatic overtime loss, Rose's performance throughout the tournament solidified his reputation as one of the best young prospects in the country. NBA scouts were convinced that he had the talent, leadership, and athleticism needed to succeed at the highest level. When the 2008 NBA draft arrived, excitement across Chicago reached a new level. The Chicago Bulls had won the first overall pick in the draft lottery, and suddenly the possibility of bringing a hometown hero back to the city became real. When the Bulls selected Derrick Rose as the #1 overall pick, it felt like destiny. Chicago, a city with a rich basketball history shaped by legends like Michael Jordan, was searching for its next star. Fans immediately connected with Rose because he wasn't just a talented athlete, he was one of their own. The quiet kid from Chicago was now the face of Chicago basketball. Rose's transition into the NBA was almost immediate. In his rookie season, he showed flashes of brilliance that reminded fans why he had been selected first overall. His explosive drives to the basket left defenders stunned, and his ability to finish through contact amazed audiences. Night after night, he displayed confidence beyond his years, fearlessly attacking some of the best players in the world. By the end of his rookie season, Derrick Rose had won the NBA Rookie of the Year award, proving that he wasn't just living up to expectations. He was beginning to exceed them. Chicago finally had a new star, and the league was starting to realize that this young point guard might soon become one of the most dangerous players in basketball. As Derrick Rose entered his second and third seasons in the NBA, it became clear that he was no longer just a promising young player. He was rapidly turning into the centerpiece of the Chicago Bulls. Every year his game seemed to evolve. His drives to the basket became more explosive, his confidence grew stronger, and his leadership on the court began to shape the identity of the entire team. Defenders across the league struggled to stay in front of him. His first step was so fast that even elite defenders were often left behind. Rose could attack the rim with power, finish through contact, and still maintain incredible balance in midair. At the same time, he continued improving his passing ability, making his teammates better and transforming the Bulls' offense into one of the most dynamic systems in the league. Fans in Chicago quickly embraced him as their new hero. For years, the city had been searching for a superstar who could bring the same excitement that once filled arenas during the Michael Jordan era. Rose began to deliver that feeling again. Every time he stepped onto the court, the crowd expected something special. His fearless style of play, combined with his humble personality, made him incredibly popular among fans. The Bulls organization also began building a stronger team around him, adding defensive pieces and experienced players who could support their young star. By the time the 2010 to 2011 season arrived, the Chicago Bulls had transformed into a serious contender. In the Eastern Conference, Rose was no longer simply developing. He was dominating games and leading his team with remarkable maturity. The 2010 to 2011 NBA season would become the defining chapter of Derrick Rose's early career. At just 22 years old, he played with a level of confidence and control that stunned the entire league. Night after night, he delivered incredible performances. Whether it was scoring over 30 points, creating plays for teammates, or hitting clutch shots in the final minutes of games, Rose consistently proved he could carry the Bulls when it mattered most. His speed and athleticism made him one of the most difficult players in the league to guard. Opposing defenses often built their entire strategy around trying to slow him down, yet he continued to find ways to break through. What made that season even more impressive was how Rose elevated his teammates. He wasn't simply chasing personal statistics. Instead, he focused on leading the Bulls to victories. Under his leadership, Chicago finished the regular season with the best record in the entire NBA. For a team that had struggled for years to regain its dominance, this was a powerful statement. Analysts and fans began seriously discussing Rose as a candidate for the league's Most Valuable Player award. When the votes were finally announced, Derrick Rose made history. At only 22 years old, he became the youngest MVP in NBA history. For Chicago fans, the moment felt unforgettable. A local kid who grew up on the city's tough streets had risen to become the most valuable player in the entire league, proving that determination, talent, and belief could turn even the biggest dreams into reality.